This is Paul, or as some know me, Ringo, from Tiger Hill Permaculture. Just going to take a walk through the property today and just show some of our water harvesting earthwork strategies in the landscape and how they're working, or any modifications that need to happen. We've gained about 65 mil of rain overnight, so this is a perfect opportunity to see the systems working, and any of the implementation I've done in the past, check its levels and see our level cell spillways, how they work. We're at the highest part in the landscape at Tiger Hill at the moment, and here we have a natural depression at the base of Tiger Hill. Tiger Hill is the hill outside the property boundary to which the property is named after, and part of its catchment is leading into this depression. This water hole fills seasonally with about 600 mil of water, and the soil, being alluvial sandstone, ends up percolating the water through the soil and comes out lower in the landscape down by the Tiger Hill Chalet. But this water hole will last for about 5 months and then just filter down through the soil here into some other harvesting networks we have down below. Here we are at the top dam, which is just outside the boundaries of Tiger Hill. And summer last season, this dam basically dried up during an earthworks course a year and a half or so ago. David Spicer dug this level sill spillway through here, but there's still plenty of water to go before this dam is going to spill over. This dam provides all the water for Tiger Hill, the property, for crops and the house water, and we have this gravity fed through a 63 mil poly all the way down with about 40 or so metres of head down to the housing envelope. Unfortunately, I don't have access to put any further water harvesting devices around this Tiger Hill leading into this dam. The owner is gracious enough to allow me to create this spillway, allowing all the surplus water to spill onto my property, but as a whole I can't touch any inlets further up the landscape into the dam. Just below us here is the Tiger Hill Chalet, and just below that is an on-contour swale and a spillway out to the south. We're going to go down there and have a look, but just where the small mound is on the other side of the timber is where the water coming through this gully and has been soaking through the top depression ends up percolating out and gets caught in a drain, then overflows into one swale, which overflows into another swale. Let's go down and have a look at that, and we can see the spillway in action. Here we have the drain alongside the roadway near the chalet, and it runs around this little bit of a knob and into a grassed drain to avoid any erosion. This was implemented back in Easter 2012, and I put some rock work in just to slow the water down. So we can see here we have a slight damming effect to slow the water down over the grassed drain. More rock gabions, if you could call them that, and creating separate levels to slow the water down and hold it longer in one place. Here to another one a little bit of a walkway across the swale. This is where the swale starts. This is the first time I've actually seen it to its capacity, or have been on site to see it at its capacity. And down here to the level sill spillway. This was my first attempt at following Jeff Lawton's instructions on building level sill spillways, and that's looking level enough, and it was always intended to then passively spill over this grass into tree planting mounds, and then further, as those tree mounds are slowing the water again, it then goes into the bottom swale. And this is a back flooding swale, so at the end to the left here, water can't escape that way, but all the way around here now to the south, this is now the fullest I've ever seen it. Last time it filled was November 2013 after a night's deluge, but this is by far the most it's ever been in here, and we can already see the effects of the water going through the soil further downhill where it's coming out there as well. Now the soil here is believed to be sodic in nature, and there is some problematic situation with it in that it can create tunnel erosion with water going through the soil. So the base of this swale has been fairly grassed, which will reduce the effects of tunnel erosion, and we can only see in future how that will really come to be. Just here you can see where the water is seeping through and then following the rest of the gully through to the east, and here the water is passively being harvested over the grass from further back up into that gully and that depression higher up in the landscape. This season I'm planning to eventually get around to planting trees on this swale mound. The swale mound was rolled off slightly to blend into the landscape more, and when you look at it from below looking up the landscape, it's somewhat hidden and you wouldn't think it was here. So this is the first time that this swale has spilled. The level at the end of the level sill spillway is in one place probably 100 mil high, but a quick fix to that would be just this area where the water is concentrated and gone over, is to build it up with a little bit of clay and actually raise the level another 100 mil and then let it spill over the full width of the spillway. So here we are at the road swale and the spillway leading off that. This is another spillway that David Spicer helped implement during the earthworks course a year and a half or so ago, and the levels are pretty good there. There's a huge amount of water coming from the higher part of the landscape into the dam at the end of this road swale, and it's all passively harvesting off over the grass to a dam further down the hill. Here we can see the water is running over the grass, over the natural shape of the land, following its own path through a little bit of a gully here, and then leading into the very bottom dam at the bottom of the property. And now that's overflowing for the second time since I've had custodian of this land. This dam will be retrofitted in the future to have a swale and road leading off that as well. Here we have the drain coming in from under the driveway, which is fed from the road surface. That's been coming in all day. Rain's just stopped recently. Here we have the earthen mound that is slowing the water before it comes to the dam, acting as a silt trap. And this is now slowly seeping underneath this topsoil, and with the height of the water today, it was spreading either end of this earth mound and into the dam over a very gentle slope. The height of the dam water level at the moment is about 100 mil from high level mark, and that's determined by the level at the spillway at the end.